Hello everyone, welcome to the mini paint I've got my little sloth onesie on today. I figured we'd have a chill painting session. So today it is week 17 of the mini paint challenge and I'm so excited to be painting with you guys again. Also, thanks for hanging out on the vertical live stream last night. That was a lot of fun with you guys. So I've been hosting those as like a pre-stream live stream, and it's been really fun to do those like little live streams and walk you through kind of how I set up this gear and this live stream. So I had gotten a few requests for that, so I'm glad that you guys are enjoying those little kind of live stream chats. But let's get into the mini paint challenge. If you are new here, I host a mini paint challenge every week, and we do this live stream, and I walk you through my painting process. So normally we're painting little paintings like this size. So these are little 3x3 paintings. I did this as a collab for one of the paint challenges so far. That was a little donut. And if you're new here, here is how to join the challenge. So you can tag me on Instagram or Facebook at Megan Josol Art and use the hashtag mini paint challenge. And then I can show your art some love because I love seeing all of your guys' like creations. I know everyone has like different art styles and they use different mediums, so I love seeing what you guys come up with. But today we are going to be, so let me switch the scenes. We are going to be painting this cute little bow bun, or not bow bun. We painted a bow bun already, that's why I'm thinking a bow bun. We're going to paint a steam bun today, and I added like a little purpley background because I thought it was like a nice contrast. Kind of a simple background today. I've been doing some more complex backgrounds lately, so it's nice to have a bit of a like simple purple background today. So we are going to get right into paint mixing. I'm going to give us maybe a bit more light. Try not to like shine it into the camera so you guys can still see me. So I have a bunch of paint down here. Some of this is like leftover from last week, so I'm going to decide on what paints we want to use. I haven't decided exactly what purple we're going to do in the background yet. So I'm going to mix a few colors and then we can kind of go from there. I thought about maybe using, so like this is a manganese violet. This one, I'm going to go through all the colors that I have on my palette and we can always add more if we need to. So we've got titanium white, we've got warm white, and we've also got quinacridone magenta, quinacridone red, alizarin crimson. This one's lemon yellow. And this one is phthalo turquoise. I don't think we're going to use this one today. We've got cerulean blue. Normally I've got ultramarine blue on there, so let's put some more ultramarine blue on. That is classic color that I normally use. And then we've also got the manganese violet, like I said, and I'm not sure if we're going to use burnt sienna today, but I've got burnt sienna on there. So that's like pretty typical palette that I like to use. I find that's pretty much what we'll need. I thought maybe about using, the other color I started using last week was Indian yellow, and I have that, but I don't have it on my palette right now. I'm not sure if we're going to use it. It's a nice like, so this one's a more like transparent color, which is pretty nice to have something a little bit lighter so you could do like a wash with it. Let me see. So we're going to start out, I think, by mixing the background color. I want to get those purple colors right away. And hello. Hello. Husband's in the background. Trying to figure out, I don't know if I want to use the manganese violet. Let me see. I'm going to put it on my palette. Maybe.
I'll have to catch up and get the colors.
Yeah. I think most of the colors should be there. It's all the colors from last week. Manganese violet is pretty nice. trying to see if I like it with the titanium white or if I maybe want to add the warm white to it to desaturate it a little bit. I mean, the color looks pretty nice. I feel like I wanted to go more on like, I guess like, I'm gonna set some of it aside and then I'm gonna add a bit more titanium white to this just to see how this lightens. Manganese violet is one of the more newer colors to me as well, so I'm just seeing how it reacts to some of the color mixing. That's the thing with painting, is the longer you do paint, the more you'll kind of get used to your colors. I'm add a bit more manganese violet to that. I think I lightened it a little too much. It takes a while to get used to your colors and to really understand how they all mix with each other. The description has 10 colors. I'm not sure which 10 colors. There's 11 on the palette. Trying to think. So what colors do we have? Maybe write them down and I'll tell you which one we're missing. Leave them in the chat. Okay, let's see. I actually don't mind that purple. I feel like that's actually a pretty nice purple. Yeah, that's burnt sienna at the end. That's the one missing. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to use it today, but you can put it down since it's on my palette. I think I like this. I've just added a bit of titanium white to the purple, and I feel like it'll be a really nice color for the background. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to put it over here. Clean that off. I do like how this purple turned out, so we're going to put that on as well. And then I'm going to go and grab a bit more of the manganese violet, and we're going to make some of those darker colors. So let me use my arrow. We're going to make some of these darker colors here in the shadow area, and I think I want this to be, yeah, sounds about right. And then burnt sienna, yeah. So this one's a little bit darker. I might actually keep the slightly darker one there. And then I want like even darker color for like the main shadow area. And I'm gonna add more blue to it. So I'm gonna actually do the manganese violet with a little bit of ultramarine blue. And that should give us like a pretty nice dark bluish purple. Actually want that a little bit more purple. I'm going to add alizarin crimson to it as well. Give us that nice deep color. So mix of those three colors. And that'll give us a nice deep purple color to work with. Hello, how's it going? We are just starting mixing the colors right now. I think that one looks pretty good. I mixed a lot of that pigment. I'm a little crazy there. I'll maybe set that aside there. We might need that for other mixings. So we're also going to do, we don't have too many colors to mix. I try to pick a more simple kind of like color mixing one today. Might actually bang this one out pretty quickly. So we've got warm white. I'm going to start with warm white for the bun colors here. Got a lot of different colors in the bun, so I'm going to show you guys how to mix them. I'm going to start out with warm white. And what you're going to do is just hold up that warm white to the bun. And so the warm white is actually a little bit, I would say a little bit too like orangish. And I don't particularly need any of this orangish color there. We're actually going to go more on like the greeny yellow side. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to add a bit of the lemon yellow to it. I'm going to see where that takes it. Should make it a little bit more. Yeah, mixing. I love watching people mix colors too. It's like one of my favorite things. It's so relaxing. Just holding up the colors right now. The color, I think, needs to have a little bit more blue in it. And now what I can do is I can probably add a bit of titanium white to it, and that'll add kind of like a bluish tone, because titanium white tends to be on the cooler side. And if I really need blue, I will add maybe a little bit of ultramarine blue. This actually is pretty close to some of the colors at the top here, some of these kind of yellowish orangey colors. I feel like we still need it more on the blue side, so I'm going to add a little bit of the ultramarine blue to it. Just a little bit. That should give us more of that green tone that we're looking for. We don't want it like super green, but it's like slowly, if you mix the colors, you'll get used to where kind of these whites sit on the color wheel. You also could, like I have mine open in paint, you could take like the little paint dropper, which I guess you can't see my screen right now, but it'll show you on the color wheel where it is, and it's more in like the orangish section, but it's desaturated, so it's more, it's got the opposite color on the color wheel, which is blue, and that's why we're adding some blue to it. And that'll desaturate the color a little bit and give us more of that lighter orangey green white that we want. The more you mix paint, the more you'll pick out these colors, so it's good to just like play around and see. So like that's pretty close. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side because that's definitely a color we use. I'm gonna keep some of it on the mixing surface here, so keep that one to the side. I'm gonna make this a little bit darker. I'm gonna slowly darken this, and I'm gonna take it to that kind of like yellowish green color. You can see some of them in these lines here. If you go to my website too, I forgot to mention this at the start of the stream, if you go to my website, you can download a higher quality image of the reference photo, and then you can use that and blow it up on your screen a little bit. It's a little bit easier to see the colors if you blow it up that way. So there's a link in my YouTube links there that says mini paint challenge. So if you click there, you can scroll down to the reference photo downloads and download that. And okay, so we're going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of lemon yellow. That'll give us more of that greenish color. A little bit more of that warm white. That might be a little too green. Let me see. Need more yellow in that. It's a little too green still. Put more of that lemon yellow in there. We're actually probably going to need more warm white too, so I will grab warm white out. That color is actually getting pretty accurate there. I want a bit more warm white in that though. Let's grab a bit more of that. color is a little off-white and some yellow in shade. Yeah, exactly. It's got a bit of like yellowy green shade to it. And that's why I'm using the warm white, because it's got kind of like an orangish yellow undertone to it. And so I find warm white. I'm using the oil paints by Gamblin. And I always get that question. I like their professional line of oil paints. And I find that their paints are nice and saturated and the colors are very accurate every time. But yeah, this one has kind of got a nice feel. I like it. And the colors are going to look very weird on your palette. I'll just say that now. It's going to feel weird to have like putting a green on like a bun like this, but that is the color that we are seeing. So that's like the lighter area. So I'm going to put that. We also kind of have like, save a little bit of that. There's a slightly darker area too. And that's more on like the bluish side, like some of the kind of creases are more on the bluish side, and you can definitely see it back here a little bit more. So we're gonna start to make some of that color back there. And it's got like a bluish purple, and I did set this like bluish purple that we made aside, so maybe I will add some of that into this greenish color and see kind of what we get from that. I think it'll be close to what we want in that area. I think we made that a little too light, but it's closer. Okay, let's see how close that is. That's like a little purple, but that's actually okay because we do have like a purple background, so I think we can probably get away with that as like a nice transition color there along the sides. And then we need like that darker color too. So I'm gonna grab this darker color that I made, which is just a combination of ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson. There is a little bit of the manganese violet in this too, but not too much. I think I want to go more on the blue side, like I said with that. I'm going to add a bit more of the ultramarine blue. Hey, how's it going? We're slowly getting these colors mixed up for the bun. Trying to go from kind of like darker color to lighter color. I mixed the background colors already. First time live, happy. Yeah, thanks for hanging out on the live stream today. I'm like really excited for this reference photo. This is the steam buns that I really like making, and they're so tasty. I make them with soy curls. They're like, I guess, a version of the Chinese steam buns, except with soy curls instead of, normally they use like some sort of animal meat, but I don't eat meat, so I use soy curls in mine. And it's so good. If you guys have not tried soy curls, you need to try soy curls. They're so good. Definitely making that really blue, but in order to desaturate that a little bit, we're going to add a bit of yellow. Yeah, I'm vegan. I guess I like to call myself plant-based, I guess. I try to eat on more of the healthier side of veganism. It's a lot of very unhealthy vegan products, so I try to stay more towards the whole food plant-based thing. But yes, I would say I am vegan. Okay. I want That's the nice thing though, is I feel like when I make like plant-based foods and stuff like this, it's like introducing my friends to a different way of eating and stuff, and they normally really love my cooking. Something that I really enjoy doing is baking and cooking for other people, so I've slowly gotten good at it over the years because it's just something that I really wanted to be able to enjoy with my friends. This a darker color is like a little too dark right now. I'm just trying to mix it up. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow in there. You're vegan too? Oh, okay. That's nice. I feel like I'm starting to meet more and more vegans as time goes on. I think even like at least the Canadian government, they do not actually recommend eating like meat anymore. They have like kind of more, they suggest you eat plant-based proteins now, so it's becoming more and more common, I think, as time goes on. I remember so many of my friends used to like make fun of me for being like, I was vegetarian before I went vegan, right? I had a lot of people making fun of me, but it's not like I'm over here making fun of their diet, so I don't know why people are so mean about the vegan diet. I guess as long as you're not pushing your values on other people, then I am all okay with that. I think that's why I don't like talk about it a lot, because there's a lot of people that are like really mean to me about being vegan, and I just want to live my life, you know? Okay, let's get in there. Do we paint this drawing? So by using, yeah, you can use whatever medium you'd like. I had some people using acrylics, some people using like watercolors. I mean, acrylics you'd probably want to like mix the colors, I guess, as you go, because the colors dry up a lot faster. Though I think you can get like different mediums and stuff to put in your acrylic paints now, so they mix up a little bit nicer. That's like closer to what I want. Like, that's like as close as I'm probably gonna get it. I'm happy with that. Okay, I also gotta like lighten one of them too. In the midst of, I'm gonna lighten this with the warm white. It's gonna go on the more purpley end. Let me see how that looks up there. I can probably take this color and desaturate it by adding a bit more of like the yellowy green tones to it. That way. Okay, that's closer. I'm kind of going for more of like a purple glow on the one side, so that works. It's kind of the lighter color there. And then this is kind of, I think, the green that we're gonna go with for, it's like a greenish tint for the bun. Greenish yellow tint, I guess, for some of the areas. Very like little amount of that we'll need. And then this color will be really nice for some of the lighter areas in the bun. And then we also need, I think we're just gonna use warm white for some of it. Maybe mixed with some titanium white. Do like a half and half. Hey, how's it going? We are slowly getting the colors mixed for this one. I always underestimate how tricky sometimes mixing colors for like white objects are. But it's like a good tutorial because I can show you my process through mixing colors for something that's white. So this one is like, I feel like the warm white is not doing it for the bun. I might set this aside for a second. Use titanium white. Actually like more on like the cool side. I'm gonna use a mix. There we go. Like the bun in the one area is like more on the cool side. Just gonna add a little bit of the lemon yellow. How are you guys all doing today? I feel like I actually got a decent sleep last night, so I'm gonna say that and then I'm gonna like start yawning. But I feel like I got a decent sleep. I locked the cats out of the room last night, so then they didn't bug me last night because I'm like, no, I need to like get a good night's sleep. So they weren't like bugging me all night, which is ideal. Okay, I like that color. I think that one works out. We're gonna go with that. So that's like the main part of the bun, I guess. Those are all our bun colors. And then I've got all the background colors. I don't have a highlight color yet, so I want to take a little bit of this and add a little bit of cerulean blue to it. Because some of these highlights are very blue. Let's see. Just like very little cerulean blue in that highlight. Let's see. It's like closer. I think we actually could go a little bit more blue with that. Hopefully I didn't go too blue with it. Okay, let's see. That's, I think, too blue now. Yeah. I went way too blue. Just set a bit of that aside and use a bit more titanium white to tone that down a little bit. My C. That's actually closer to what we want. In some of the bright areas, yeah. I would say we'll use that. It's a good one. Okay. So those are the colors that we got. And I guess we just hope it all works out, right? Hope for the best. Okay, so I am going to switch it over from this to the painting scene. I'm also going to switch the cameras. So then this camera, I move it over a little bit. The usual. Normally I have to move the camera over. Let's try not to point at the super messy kitchen that I gotta clean up tonight. I was gonna clean it last night, and then I was like doing the live stream with you guys last night. And I was like, no, I'm gonna get a proper amount of sleep tonight and not worry about it. So the top colors are a little off the screen. Let me bring that down a bit. I try to line it up so it's like not off the screen. Okay, I'm gonna give us a fresh wipe here. Gonna also open some linseed oil. So I've got linseed oil here. Take that off. Yeah, this one's just like a little jar of linseed oil that I have. And I'm gonna use that to clean off my paintbrushes. And then this is just a little rag that I have on the side here. Let's make sure that this is all set up properly because I'm gonna film a time lapse for you guys. That's why I've got this camera here. I actually gotta make sure I edit some time-lapse videos this week. I ran out of time-lapse videos, so I gotta do another batch of time-lapse filming. I try to like batch film them or batch create them so then they're all ready for the Saturday videos. Let me just position this a little bit better and hopefully you guys can see the bun okay. Just gonna make sure the lights are bright enough so it's not an issue. There we go. Okay, that should be pretty good. And then I have to decide on what brushes I want to use. I guess while I'm doing that, I should erase I'm gonna erase the sketch. So I'm just using one of these kneaded erasers. Got these little kneaded erasers and I'm gonna erase my sketch a bit. You don't want the graphite to be mixing with your paint, especially oil paints. They'll pick up the pigment from the graphite pretty easily and it'll mix, especially with the lighter colors that we're using. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my eraser and I'm like just kind of dabbing off the sketch a little bit and you'll see it kind of on the eraser as I'm doing it. We're just dabbing it off enough that we can like still see the sketch, but just so we have a general idea, like we're putting in the details and stuff with paint, so we don't really need to sketch a ton on here. That's why I didn't do like a very detailed sketch. I mean, you definitely can do a detailed sketch to kind of understand where like the dark and light areas are if you're kind of new to painting. Some people like to do underpaintings, they're called too, with like acrylic paint, or you can do an underpainting with oils and then wait till the next day. Oh, there's like green on my eraser. I think I got a bit of paint on it. Well, it's okay, we're gonna cover it up anyway. You guys see that? You guys see that? There's a little green mark now. It's okay, we'll fix it. I'm gonna cover it up with paint anyway. Where is all this green paint coming from? I don't have green paint on my hands. Must have got like green paint on my eraser at some point. That's not ideal. I smell green. Oh, you know what it is? I think my plant. It's not green paint, it's my plant. I think my eraser is touching my plant and maybe, yeah, see, it's like, I'm gonna have to deal with that. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that, but okay. we're gonna start laying down the colors with a slightly bigger one. I think I'll probably use like maybe this size. Sometimes I like to test out where I'm going to be using the paintbrush, so it'll be kind of in these areas. I think this paintbrush will be a good size, and then we'll go down to like a smaller paintbrush as we add more details. But this will be good for laying down the base layer of paint. So we're going to start out with the darker colors in the bun. I'm going to start with the bun first, just because I don't exactly know where I want some parts of the bun yet, so it's nice to just put the bun down and then we can do the background after. So I'm going to go in with this darker color that we mixed. And I'm just going to use the edge of my brush to really lay this darker color down in those dark areas. And we can start with maybe this one over here. This is kind of like the darkest area on the bun. And it kind of fades up into this section a bit. I would say the other dark part of the bun is over here. Try not to move my stuff too much. And there's a line there, and we can go back in and kind of like touch these up with a smaller brush after, but we're laying in those main kind of light and dark areas first and just establishing that value and where the value is going. So we're almost kind of doing, I say I don't do an underpainting, but I'm doing underpainting with my colors beforehand. So I'm just taking my colors and establishing where the darkest areas are going to be. And then we go in and we start establishing where the lighter areas are going to be. And I find that just helps with blending too, especially when with oil paints. It's easier to go from darker to light, but it's really hard to make things dark again if you add too much of like the white or the lighter pigments. So you always want to start out with those darker pieces, especially when you know it's surrounded by a lot of lighter colors. And so this bun, just getting those darker areas, and I can go back in and lighten some of those up because it looks like really dark right now, but it will lighten up when we start adding the other colors to it. That one's not like super dark, so I'm not going to put too much there. Same with this one here, but we're just establishing where those areas are. And then also got a little bit of dark area here. And in there. Darken that a bit. Okay, lay those dark areas in. I don't want to make that one too dark. These ones are kind of like there. I think that's pretty good for those darker areas. We can always go back in and touch them up a little bit, but I don't want Go too crazy. We're gonna go in with this purple now. There isn't too much of this purple. It's more kind of on these like back sections, I guess. And it's like fading between the two colors. Specifically in this back section here in the shadow, I find it's a little bit more purple, and we want to create like, so the original reference photo didn't have a purple background, so I'm trying to create a little bit of that purple that we see in the background on the bun as well, just to make it look like it's kind of reflecting that purple from the background. Or like adding things that weren't there in the original photo. Because I just like edited this photo in Photoshop that I took, and I added the background, and then I kind of added a little bit more color to like the shadow and stuff. But that's what we're doing, is we're just adding even more while we're painting. And by adding like different colors to the bun, it's gonna make it look just more fun and colorful. Because the bun, honestly, like by itself is like pretty plain, so it's nice to add a little bit of that interest. It's like visual interest, right? Adding a bit more color. And so now these ones don't have as much purple because they're in the highlights, so we're going to use more of that kind of like greenish color in there. I'm going to also start working into this grayish purple color that we made. I'm going to attach these here, just around there. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of it over here. We're going to add a little bit of those. The next color we're going to add is a little bit of that green color that we mixed as well. These, it's like purple. It's like a purple bun right now. I bet you could color it with like ube or something. A lot of Filipinos use ube. I like making ube things. Kind of does have that purpley ube color. That would be fun to paint, like one of those ube cakes. Okay, we're gonna start adding this kind of like greenish yellow in there, very lightly. Do not add too much of this, or else we're gonna like make our bun look really gross. Just adding it a little bit into those deeper areas, and we're not mixing it with the other color as much, because if we mix it with the purple, it's not going to go over very well. So we're just laying those colors in. And then lay those green colors in. Just little bits of pops of color from this kind of green. And then there's a little bit in this area here. Just a little bit right there. Okay, I'm gonna get out of that color now. You can always add a little bit more later on if we feel like we've toned that like yellowish color down a bit. I'm just gonna clean it off in a little bit of the linseed oil. We're slowly gonna work into this kind of yellowish color, and we mixed this one specifically kind of like for the outside of that yellow. So I'm going to slowly blend kind of that yellow color into this more bun-like color. And I'm not blending it a lot this time because I really want the texture from me not blending to kind of come into play with this one, because there is quite a bit of like texture in the bun that's going to be hard to create. And it's okay if we don't cover up some of the white because we've got all those like nice shadows and stuff, or those nice highlights in the paper. So we don't have to add as many kind of highlights in the end. We can use the paper to our advantage. That's why I like keeping the white background a lot of the time, because I can use that white paper. I kind of used it the other day for like my watermelon painting. If you guys saw the watermelon painting I made, I used a lot of the white in the background for that one to make it kind of textured on the picnic blanket that the watermelon was sitting on. And that's the thing with like your background. That's why a lot of artists do like to paint their background, because they want like some of that background color to shine through. Kind of depends on like what you're going for as far as the end result. So you can play around with background colors for sure. I just love using the highlight areas, so that's why I tend to keep it white. And so we're just building this color up right beside the yellow. And then this is the main bun color that we have there, so we'll add that last. And then we come back in and we'll add some details and stuff near the end, but yellow. Okay, now we're gonna wash it off again, and then we're gonna work into that color there, more of the lighter parts of the bun. And then after we'll go in with some of this bluish color as well, bluish white. And that's more like the highlight parts of the bun where the light is reflecting because it's a blue light. That's the other thing, is when you're taking reference photos, you can kind of play around with the light source that you're using, and then it'll kind of change the feel of what you're painting. Okay. It'll also start to come together when we've got the contrast of the background too. I find the background really helps to bring everything together. Gonna make sure I brush off any extra color that I get on it if I'm going against other colors. So I'm using linseed oil to clean my brushes. I oil paint, so I know a lot of other oil painters, they use like solvents and stuff, but you actually can just use linseed oil to clean your brushes in between. And then you don't have to use all of those like toxic solvents that are on the market. I try to avoid those. I practice solvent-free painting, but yeah, I'm just using linseed oil. And all I'm doing is like dipping it in and then like wiping it on this rag. I think the biggest thing you have to be careful with when it comes to using linseed oil and rags though is that you're storing your rags properly, or else you can end up starting a fire. Because they go through a process called oxidation. And that's when the oil is like hardening, and it causes a lot of friction and like heat. So it actually can set your rags on fire. So you just want to make sure you lay your rags out flat, or like on like, you know, I hang it on the sides of my easel, and you don't want to like stack them in a pile together. Then you're pretty good. But yeah, I've been meaning to try oil instead of solvent. Yeah, I find a lot of people are just kind of used to using it, but it works just as well. Like I find linseed oil is great for that. And linseed oil is one of the like cheaper kind of like oils you can get too, so it's not, doesn't feel like you're wasting it, right? But I guess solvents, I don't know, I've never actually bought solvents. I don't know if they're like, are they expensive? Because like, what do most people use? They use like turpentine, or like, I think Gamsol is like the other one that's pretty popular from Gamblin. But yeah, I've just kind of avoided it. That's actually why I didn't paint for a lot of years. Or I didn't oil paint specifically for a lot of years, because I thought you had to use all of the solvents, and that really freaked me out because I have really sensitive skin. And I am really, really sensitive to like scents and stuff. So finding paints that only, so I use Gamblin paints and they only use linseed oil as their binder. So I use Gamblin paints and then just linseed oil. Kind of just like goes together, I guess. Learned using Gamsol, it's pricey. Okay, so I guess linseed oil would be cheaper than using Fireproof Bucket for eggs. Yeah, you can also get buckets and stuff for that. I think some people, what they put it in like a bucket with water or something is like the other solution. But that's like one thing I always warn people about because I know how important it is to like practice safety when it comes to oil painting, especially with like the oil painting rags. But definitely a lot to learn when it comes to like oil paints too, right? I think that's why it's like intimidating for a lot of people is there's just like so many like little steps towards it. So like the barrier for entry is a little bit higher than say like acrylic paints. But yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's good to know that Gamsol is actually pretty pricey and that linseed oil is a bit cheaper. So you probably would save money if you switched over. So that's always a bonus, right? Okay, slowly getting there. Really trying to like bring out the purple a little bit more because I want it to like reflect the background a bit, you know? I'm gonna actually blend out a few of the transition points. I'm gonna just use like a really small brush and I'm gonna use the dry brush technique where you just like take your brush and I'm gonna take like, I have a rag here, and you're just gonna keep dabbing off the little bit of excess paint. And I find that really helps to get a nice blended transition, especially in like these areas that's supposed to be like shadow areas. So it'll just give us a nicer transition. I use this and just keep dabbing it off. I'm one of those oil painters that really likes to blend. I was talking to another painter the other day about that, where it's just like there's some painters and they'll like, you know, like do the big giant like brush strokes and like they've got all these like really beautiful like gooey brush strokes, and I'm like over here like I just really love blending stuff out. Like it depends on like what effect you want for your painting, right? And what style you're going for. I like to keep a little bit of my brush strokes. I don't like it to be like super realistic because I've definitely like went down that road where I like things to be realistic, or I used to like things to be like super realistic. And then I've kind of, in the last couple of years, I've just transitioned from that to a bit more, I guess, painterly is what people call it now. And I really like to see some of the brush strokes and to have some of that. I definitely still enjoy blending, so. It's a stylistic choice. That's why I like running these paint challenges, because it's like everyone has such a different way of like doing things and like blending stuff. So it's really cool to see how other people interpret the reference photo and like make it their own style. It's like the beautiful thing about art is, you know, people always say that like AI is going to take over the art industry, but there's nothing like there's nothing that can replicate, you know, human stories and the human touch to art. And AI is trained on human art, so it's all human creation, right? I always talk about that with my husband, that topic, because we see so many conversations about that online, and it's interesting that people think it's gonna take over the art space, but I think that is very far from true. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Getting some of that blendedness out. We can always come back and add some like details. I'm gonna add the background probably next, and we'll come back and add more details in the bun afterwards, but it's nice to add the background so we're not just painting on, or we're not like up against like a white surface, because obviously the bun looks like, you know, super kind of like weird right now on a white surface, right? I mean, I guess it looks pretty good from that angle, not too bad. Also, the other thing is like you don't have to match the bun exactly to the reference photo. It's kind of fun to like make your own like little corrections here and there and like not match it exactly. That's like another thing I really like. If I'm like, I don't like that tree over there, then I just take it out. And then you can kind of just make it your own thing. Or you're like, I don't want to add all of the lines in that blanket. It's like, okay, I'm going to change what that blanket looks like over there. And so over the years, I've just learned to do that more with my art. It's just like nice to be able to add your own like little personal touch to things. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to start adding the background in. I was going to use this brush for the background. Yeah, maybe I'll still use. I got these new brushes and I really like them. I feel like the tips of them are like really firm, but like they still have like a nice bouncy back to them. I don't know how to explain them, but my other brushes are like really soft. Like I have some really soft brushes. Like these are just very, very soft. And this one is just like way more firm. And I really like that, especially for like laying down those initial areas of paint. I'm getting like oil on my hands. But I need to get more of the brushes because I only have a few of them, so I have to like definitely clean them in between colors right now. I guess what I could do is I could start out by using, I have a slightly smaller one. I could use that for the shadow part, because we're going to add in the shadow first. So we're going to take this dark purple color we mixed over on this part of the palette. So these are all of our background colors here. We've added just some very basic transition colors that we can use. And so I'm going to start out by just adding that color right against the bun here. I'm trying to use one of my newer brushes too, just so it gets a nice line there. That's the thing, is like some brushes get older, like, you know, like the one I just used for blending, that's like a really old brush. But newer brushes are better for those like crisp lines, you know? I have to blend this a little bit too. A little too crisp on the line there. Just a little thick there. I'm going to take my little blendy brush. Go in. Make the line a little thick. There we go. I'm just going to try to do it as close to the lines that I had made before. Kind of comes around here, goes over. And then is this one here. Just take your time with this and really get that shadow in the place that you want it. We're going to blend the shadow out a bit because it does have a bit of blended edges. Get that kind of like base layer in. There we go. And I'm going to go in with this darker purple color. I'm not going to clean off my brush. So I'm going to kind of almost mix that darker color with this purpley color. We're going to start kind of like putting it around the edge of here. It's going to give us that blended look. Okay, I'm going to clean off the brush a little bit with my linseed oil again. And I'm going to work on putting this color in. So this color is kind of like that, oh, there's a bit of a cat hair in there. And the light is kind of coming from, I guess, over in this direction here. So we're going to lighten kind of the background color as we get closer to that area. So now we're going to go into this lighter color. I guess I said I was going to like slowly work with the other brush. Maybe I should grab the bigger brush because it's like a bigger area now. This one's a number 2 brush from the Seneca brand. It's a flat brush. I'm not sure if they sell these online, these brushes. I think it's like a local artist that makes them here. Okay. Just gonna lay that color down and then we can go back in and we can adjust things. Then side. And you definitely could leave the background like more kind of like painterly like this too. I think I want to blend mine out just because I really like kind of soft blended backgrounds. Definitely like another little stylistic choice you could make. I'm just going to slowly go around the edges. Don't want to ruin the work that I just did there on the bun, so. know, guys, like how the color is looking too. I feel like it's still a little off from what it looks like in person. I've been really trying to like mess around with my color settings to make it look a little bit nicer, but I still haven't got the hang of how to kind of color grade the camera. I feel like the camera tends to err on the side of like being a bit more blue, so it's making it look like a very different purple on the camera. It's got more of that bluish tint. I'm trying to change like the color temperature settings and stuff, but still very blue. So I'll definitely take a picture of this after and like post it on the community tab here so you guys can see it. I've been trying to do that now just to make sure you guys can see what my finished painting looks like. I also normally make like reels and make a post and stuff on like Instagram and stuff, so you'll see that there as well. I'm going to slowly start making this color a little bit lighter. I'm going to grab some titanium white. I'm just going to bring it over here and slowly start mixing some titanium white into it. Just because I want it a little bit lighter kind of in this area. Grab a little bit more titanium white. Did it forget the camera settings from before? I hope not, but maybe. Remember when my computer crashed? I wonder if maybe some of the settings from that. Because last week we were starting the stream and my Streamlabs, which is the streaming software I use, they decided to like delete my output for sound. So I started the stream with like no sound for like the first like few minutes. Not realizing. So yeah, it could definitely have been like deleted or something. Okay, we're just kind of getting this last little bit done, and then we'll go back in and blend it. I have my like little mini mop brushes that I like blending with, so I'll bring that out. We'll blend that. So it's really just the cam doing blues. Or yeah, it's like a very strong blue. I'm wondering if, I don't know. It's frustrating because I bought this cam because people said it had like really good color, and but the color is just like not accurate. And like my screen, the color that I have on my screen right now, like it is very much a color graded screen. Like I have like the device to color grade my screen because I do like prints and stuff on my artwork. And so like I understand how, you know, those work. So it's like My screen is very, very accurate. So it's definitely not my screen. Something to play around with more, or maybe there's like a third-party software that I can download that would make the coloring a little bit better. Something to play around with though. Always a learning curve with technology, right? There's always something to improve or to learn. So I just take it as like another learning experience, and we'll get there. For your classes, awesome. It helps me so much. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I was getting a lot of requests for people that wanted me to do like one-on-one lessons and stuff, but I'm like, why don't I just do live streams? Because then more people can kind of like learn how I do my painting style anyway. Because I know like so many artists do it very differently. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just teach what I know anyway. Show you guys exactly what I do. Because there's like so many ways to oil paint. Like I was saying, like I do solvent-free oil painting. And it's one thing I actually like really wanted to do when I first started, but a lot of oil painters don't paint solvent-free. So I had like no resources, so I had to like go digging myself. So I'm just sharing what I know now. Oh, this is the mini mop brush. It's a 1/8 inch size mini mop brush. This one is by the brand Princeton. It's their Velvetouch series. I really love the Velvetouch series. They're very soft brushes. They're great for blending. The other brushes I use, I was just using, it was a Seneca brush, and they're a little bit more firm, which is nice for kind of like those initial paint strokes to lay down thicker layers of paint. But yeah, the Princeton ones are really good for blending and getting those transitions nice. And all I'm doing is I'm kind of like blending out the color. I'm gonna actually take my rag too, and we're dry brushing it, so I'm gonna take off some of the pigment that I don't want on there, and then we go back in and blend a little bit more, and I'm gonna blend into this shadow a little bit. I'm gonna actually grab like a smaller brush to blend out the shadow too, and then we'll get like a nicer shadow that way. But I'm glad the classes are helping. I feel like so many people are enjoying them so far, and I'm glad. They're quite a production to put on. Me and my husband used to like live stream video games on Twitch, and our production for that was definitely a lot lower, so I've had to like figure out how to like add all these like camera stream or like the camera feeds and stuff on Streamlabs. It's funny, like I've got like 5 cameras like situated around me. But it's I find it like so fun to set up. I don't know if you guys like enjoy like technology and like setting stuff up like this, but it's like so fun to like set up the streams and to like learn how to make all of this stuff like, you know, better over time. It's so much fun with the technology part of it. I was saying last night on the vertical live stream I was doing, I actually used to be a magician's assistant. I did that for probably like 7 or 8 years there. And I ran a lot of the technical gear, all the lighting and like sound. So I learned how to use that. And I was the one backstage kind of like running that. And I learned how to like run like cables and stuff and all of the sound and lighting equipment. So I really enjoyed that part of the production setup. And so I think that's why I gravitated towards like editing videos and like sound and audio production, because it's always been something I've really enjoyed doing. Kind of blending this up into the bun a little bit to like add that color in from there. Blending that color up into there a bit. I kind of want to take a little bit of this purple color. I want it to be just kind of blending this color. Make it a little bit more obvious that that's like where the bun is. So I'm just adding a little bit of that lighter color in there. Like it's almost like a reflection. Trying to add kind of that purpley reflection there to see if that helps. Just want the bun to stand out a little bit more. I also think I might take a little bit of this darker color onto my blender brush and really go in on the edges again, just to get that darkest color on the edge. Pops out a little bit more. Okay, let me blend this out. I think we picked a really nice purple. I like how this purple turned out. So that was manganese violet that we used for this. I don't use it as a background color very often, but I like the manganese violet. Normally I'm like mixing purples with quinacridone magenta, or like quinacridone red, and the ultramarine blue or alizarin crimson, but it's kind of nice to have like a pre-mixed purple out of the tube. It's a nice color. I like it. That's why it's nice to try new colors sometimes. You'll be surprised what you find. Honestly, I think that it's like looking pretty good. I think I want to add still a few more like highlights to some of these areas. I'll blend these out a little bit more too. Some of these areas definitely aren't blended out enough for my liking anyway. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna grab my highlighty color now, which is this bluish color. We haven't dabbed the blue on. I'm just trying to like blend these out a little bit more before we dab the color on, because we don't want this super thick if we're going to add color on top. That's one thing I've learned, is to kind of keep these lower layers like pretty sparse. Like you don't want to add too much paint to it. It's easier to manipulate it a bit later on if you're not adding a ton of paint to the canvas at first. But yeah, I like how the purple's turning out. I'm glad we added kind of like that purple tint to the bun. It makes it feel like it like fits in with the image a little bit more, because there was just something off about the reference image. Felt like we needed that purple on it. Okay. And we could make these like a little bit brighter in that area, and maybe I'll go back in and like make it a bit brighter. I'm not sure yet. Let me stand back. Sometimes it's good to just like stand back, see what we're working with. Oh, there was definitely white on my brush. Go back into that darker color. Clean off the brush. Okay, let me see. So we definitely have to add some highlights into the bun. I feel like we could even add a bit more of that like orangish yellow color in there just to like brighten that bun part up. I feel like I almost want to go like more orangey. I think I want to mix like a slightly different like orangish color for the bun. Take this. I'm gonna take alizarin crimson and the yellow. Mix kind of like an orangey color. But we're gonna have to desaturate that, so we're gonna definitely put some ultramarine blue in there. I want it more yellow. I'm just seeing if maybe that'll help. I feel like it's missing kind of a color there at the top. Definitely a bit more yellow in that. Let's see if that's closer. A little bit closer to those darker colors. Let's try that out. I'm gonna just add a little bit of that kind of like orangish color that we mixed. I'm gonna add it. There's a little bit of good cat hair on my brush there. Okay, let's see. Just gonna add a bit of it to the edges. I feel like kind of just missing it a little bit. There's almost like a reflection of this kind of darker color. I also just like want to add more color into it because I feel like it's a bit more like of that bright color. I think that's helping just to add a little bit of that. It's almost and then we'll add the highlights and that should help too. So we've got kind of that greenish color and then we've got like an orangish color that we mixed up. But yeah, that's definitely what we were looking for, was more of that color. Let's say it's nice to add that little pop of color. Okay. So there we go. We've got more of that yellowish orange in there. And now I'm going to add some of those highlights like I talked about with the blue color that we haven't touched there. Just going to clean off this really good so we don't get like orange bits everywhere. My rag is getting a little dirty, so I'm going to use the other side a bit more just to clean it off. Okay. Okay, now we will grab this bluish color. Be really sparing where you put this on. So these are like the little like highlights on the bun. You can kind of see the light reflecting on the bun a bit. And there's quite a bit highlight in here. Highlight here. And okay, let me stand back. Definitely have it's looking pretty good. Just really trying to get all of the little reflections and stuff in. Just kind of adding texture right now by using very light kind of strokes to kind of add that darker value into some of the lighter areas to create almost like a little bit of a transition, but like a very rough transition. That's kind of what I'm going for there. Okay, look like it's pretty good there. think I might call it quits there. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? I like the purple that we chose. I wish I could like make the purple like a little bit different on the stream, like I said. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Too bad.
Just see, I'm wondering if I can like change the color temperature.
Oh, you're adjusting the color now? Might as well, you're live.
Ooh.
Are you done the painting?
Yeah, I've done the painting.
Oh, nice.
Just like messing around.
Yeah, you might as well mess around while you still have
No, I
time.
definitely like I made it worse. I made it too yellow. Yeah, it's really not picking up like the nice kind of like reds as much.
Well, we're making it cooler. No.
No, I was trying to make it warmer and it like
It just doesn't do red very well.
yeah, it's not doing the red very well, but I'll take a picture of it for you guys so you guys can see it afterwards. But honestly, I might just like change this cam to like a different cam. I'm like not impressed with the way that cam's like working out, so maybe we'll get a new one. I don't know if getting like another one from that brand is a good idea then. If it's like very blue, we might want to try like a different brand of webcam until we find one that like has more like accurate colors. But I hope you guys enjoyed the painting today. Let me just gonna exit out of that, and I think everything, let me stop my time lapse since I'm done, and I will go to the next paint scene. Okay, so thanks for hanging out today. If you guys want to join in, just make sure you tag me on social media at Megan Josol Art on like Instagram or Facebook's probably the best place to like post your paintings, but if you tag me and then use the hashtag mini paint challenge, then you can also see like other works that other people have done for the challenge as well. So there's quite a few other people that have like participated now, which it's so cool. Like every time you guys participate, I love looking at all of your paintings, and you guys are so talented. I love all of your paintings that you've been doing. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'm glad we got to paint together. But I will see you, I'm gonna go live again on Friday, so I'm doing Tuesday and Friday like vertical live streams at 8 p.m. PST, and then we've got the Wednesday one. So we've actually got a collab next week with another artist. I'm so excited to show you guys the reference photo that she's provided for that one. But we will be live again next Wednesday for the mini paint challenge, but I will see you on Friday on that live. So I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and thanks for hanging out. So take care, everyone. Bye.